Hello dear friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Mukesh English. This is Mukesh Soni. In this video, we are going to have a discussion of second semester BCom BBA Generic English model question paper. Here we are going to have a discussion of model question paper of second semester BCom BBA Generic English under Bangalore City University BCU syllabus. To begin with, the section A consists the questions from the workbook, which has the weightage of 40 marks. So the first question you have here, you need to read the passage and you need to solve the 5 questions based on the passage. So the passage begins like this. There is no general agreement about how the planets were formed. The most widely accepted theory is that about 5,000 million years ago, swirling clouds of matter began to condense. Through the action of centrifugal force, the heavier molecules were concentrated near the center of the eddies, and the lighter gaseous material was thrown out toward the periphery. Such is the theory. What is known is that 9 satellites began orbiting around the sun. These are the planets. The planet on which man lives on the third closest to the sun, with the third shortest orbit. It also has something none of the others has, an atmosphere that can support life in all the manifold forms that exist on a planet. There may be satellites circling other stars in other parts of the universe that have the right ingredients for some sort of life to evolve, but the Earth is the only one in the solar system. So you need to read the passage 1 or 2 times to understand, and you need to answer 5 questions based on this passage. First question: the theory of the formation of the planets. So the option A is the correct answer, is generally agreed upon by everyone. Second question, according to the passage, what is the theory behind the formation of planets? Through the action of centrifugal force, the heavier molecules were concentrated near the center of the eddies, and the lighter gaseous material was thrown out toward the periphery. Third question, the Earth is the planet which is third closest to the sun. Fill up the blank. Fourth one, in the passage, the word periphery means edge. So the option is the correct answer. And the fifth one suggests a suitable title to the passage. So the suitable title can be The Earth and Its Story. You can also have a different title. So this is the first question for 5 marks, 5 questions from the passage. Now the second part two, do as directed. It has the different questions from the vocabulary like synonyms, antonyms, tenses, articles, prepositions, etc. The first one, choose the correct synonym for the words given below. So synonyms for 2 marks. So you need to find the synonym of chaos out of these 3 words. So I have given the black color here. The black colored one is the synonym of chaos. Is the answer is here. Confusion. Synonym of chaos is confusion. Synonym of develop is evolve. Synonym of develop is evolve. Next, you have here choose the correct antonym. Antonym means to say the opposite meaning. Feeble, the antonym of feeble is strong. Adhere, antonym of adhere is disregard. So this is how synonyms for 2 marks, antonym for 2 marks. Up next, you need to add here suitable affixes. Affixes means prefix or suffix. So you need to fill up the blank by going through the word given in the bracket. So occasion. So occasion, suffix occasionally. So it will become occasionally. Then joy, joyful. FUL is a suffix. Ordinary, here extraordinary. You need to put here extra as a prefix. So the correct answer occasionally, joyful, extraordinary. Next, construct the 2 sentences each for the homonym fine. Means to say same pronunciation but 2 different contextual meaning. He has to pay fine for traffic violation. So this is the as a verb. I'm fine. So this is not a verb here. So he has to pay fine and I'm fine. So these are the 2 contextual meaning for the same word. This for 2 marks. Next, homophones. You need to find the homophones of the word there. So homophone is here. Sorry, the spelling is here Their. It should be Their. Please correct here. Their. Their. Apostrophe re. That's a contracted form of there. So correct answer Their. Please correct it. Their. Apostrophe re. They are. Next, identify the proper collocation. Strong coffee or powerful coffee? We never say powerful coffee. We always say strong coffee. Next, you have here articles. So use a suitable article. So India is the democratic country. So article the. There is no shortcut for success. Preposition for success. So underlined words will be the answer. Dance. Use a proper tense. Yesterday is in the past tense. Yesterday speaks about the past time. So the past tense of dance, danced. I danced. Here, Bangalore is the capital city of Karnataka. So in your question, the letter K was in the lower case. So it should be in the upper case in the capital letter K, capital, and the full stop. And you can use the correct punctuation like this. The story is much interesting. You need to correct this sentence. The story is very interesting. Instead of much, very interesting. So these are the questions for 5 marks by from article, preposition, time and tense, punctuation, and correct the errors. Next questions you have reported speech, the most interesting. He said, "Be quiet and listen to my words." So he ordered to be quiet and listen to his words. That's the answer. The principal said to me, "Do it yourself." The principal instructed me to do it myself. Leela said to Shankar, "I will come to your house as early as possible." Leela informed Shankar that we'll remove comma, inverted comma, we'll add the conjunction that she would come. I will become she, will become would. She would come to his house. Your house will become his house. Whose house? Shankar's house. His house as early as possible. The director said to the actor, "Can you perform better?" The director asked the actor if he could perform better. So, comma, inverted comma, we need to remove the question mark. If he could perform better. The weather is going to be extreme this week, said the expert. So it's an announcement, it's a forecast. So forecast cannot be in the past tense. The experts forecasted that, announced that the weather is going to be extreme that week. So we won't say weather was going to be, because they are very common routine things and we cannot change. So weather is going to be extreme this week. So this is how the 5 questions from the reported speech will be asked in the examination. Next, complete the following dialogue between the two friends on vaccination. So 3 blanks will be given in this question here. You can see these blanks here. Did you get your dose of vaccination? Yes. So it was blank. So we have filled by saying yes. What about yours? Another blank is here. No, not yet. What are you waiting for? It is available for free in PHC. Go get it. Sure, thanks. So these were the 3 blanks are here. We need to fill those blanks based on the previous dialogues and you can get 3 out of 3 marks. Next questions you have from communication skills topic, 2 marks questions. What is communication? Communication is a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols, sign, or behavior. Question number 2, what are the 2 types of communication? Verbal communication and non-verbal communication. So 2 marks weightage. This topic has communication skills. The communication skills topic has a weightage of 2 marks. Next, passive voice. You need to convert this passage into the passive voice. Before that, let's go through it. We'll convert line to line. People saw a UFO in the sky above Bangalore last night. So let's change. A UFO was seen in the sky above Bangalore the previous night. Last night will change to previous night. They reported to the police. It was reported to the police. The police sent a helicopter to look at it more closely. The helicopter was the helicopter, sorry, a helicopter was sent by the police to look at it more closely. The UFO shot the helicopter down. The helicopter was shot down by the UFO. Killed the two policemen in it. The two policemen were killed in it. Let's repeat. A UFO was seen in the sky above Bangalore in the previous night. It was reported to the police. The helicopter was sent by the police to look at it more closely. The helicopter was shot down by the UFO and the two policemen were killed in it. This is how you need to change this passage into the passive voice by using the past participle. UFO was seen. Look at here. Was seen, past participle. Was sent, past participle. Was shot, past participle. Were killed, past participle. Now, the last question from the workbook. Here you have a choice. Either you write welcome speech or you write vote of thanks. So you have been invited as you have invited an eminent educationist as a chief guest to your college annual day. Prepare a welcome speech using the profile given below. So you can look at the profile first. This profile will be given on a question paper: name, Dr. Sumant Prabhu, date of birth, place of birth, educational qualification, achievements, awards, best teacher, etc. So you need to construct the sentences only by using this information. Don't give any extra information because you don't know about this person. This question is for five marks. Let's see the sample answer. Good morning, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome the chief guest for our college annual day, Dr. Sumant Prabhu. Dr. Sumant Prabhu was born on 8th March 1972 in Hassan, Karnataka. He did M. in English and PhD. He has 25 years of teaching experience in ABC College and XYZ University. He has also worked as a guest faculty in UK. Dr. Sumant Prabhu was awarded Best Teacher Award, Excellence Award, Citizen of the City Award. Sir, we are fortunate to have you with us. I once again welcome you on this auspicious occasion. Thank you. So, this welcome speech I have prepared only by using the information given on your question paper. Only one thing, we need to sequence it how the profile is given here. Now if you don't like to write the welcome speech, you have a choice here. You can draft vote of thanks by using the same data, by using the same information. So you have a question here: prepare a vote of thanks for the same occasion as mentioned above. Same occasion, college annual day, and about the same person you can say thanksgiving speech. So good morning, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to deliver vote of thanks on today's college annual day celebration. To begin with, I extend my heartfelt thanks to our chief guest, Dr. Suman Prabhu, for gracing the occasion. Thank you, sir, for accepting the invitation at a very short notice. I'm thankful to our principal, Dr. Sunidhi, for guiding and supporting us to conduct this program. I also thank the coordinator of this function, Professor Ramesh. I thank all the teaching and the non teaching staff for extending the support to make this program a successful one. I must not forget to thank all the students who have participated today and won prizes. Congratulations to all. Thank you, one and all. So, this is how you can select either the welcome speech or we can say the vote of thanks. Now, we are moving to the section B, the part 2 of your question paper. So far, we have discussed 40 marks questions from the workbook. Now we are going to have a discussion of 20 marks questions. So here again, you have three segments: 2 marks questions, 2 marks questions, 5 marks questions, and 10 marks questions. So first, we shall have a discussion of the we shall have a discussion of the 1 mark questions. I'm sorry, 1 mark, 5 marks, and 10 marks. This is a format. So out of 6 questions, you need to answer only 5 questions, each for 1 mark, totally 5 marks. What kind of freedom does Tagore claim for his motherland in his poem Freedom? Answer is here: freedom from fear. What is Biba? A business, a business which Meena Bindra started to earn some pocket money led to the creation of a popular brand, Biba. Which object gave Chaplin an inordinate sense of possession, his six-penny toy chair bought from the gypsies. Who was Endymion according to Greek myth? In Greek mythology, he was an he was an Aeolian mortal loved by the mood goddess Selena, or we can say Selene, who asked Zeus to grant him eternal life. Why was the happy prince looking sad? Because he can see all the ugliness and all the misery of a city, and though his heart is made of lead, yet he cannot choose but weep. What can a tourist find in the Sunderbans? So the tourist can find tigers, crocodile, hental, sundari trees, and the mangrove. So don't forget to see the description box. In the description box, I have already mentioned all the lessons links, all the grammar topics links in the description box, so that you can study in a more better manner, in more depth. You can study, go through all the links of my previous videos on all these five lessons, as well as all the topics of the grammar for your second semester BCom BBA generic English. Now we are moving to the 5 marks questions from the course book. So you, out of 3 questions, you have choice here. 3 questions will be asked. Out of 3 questions, you need to attempt only one question. How does the poem Sunderbans portray the conflict between human beings and tigers? In the poem, the poet tries to draw the pensive sketches of Dalit life in the remotest nooks of the marshlands. The dire necessity to access the dense, impenetrable forest in search of honey and firewood, and the resultant death in the cruel jaws of the ferocious Royal Bengal tiger is the central theme of this poem. When hapless Subal is devoured by the bloodthirsty tiger, his wife had no other alternative but to commit suicide by hanging herself from the ceiling of a ramshackle hut. The speaker ironically asked the visitor by whom he was sent to Kolkata. He says that the tourists come to have a glance of tiger, not the inhabitants of these jungles. They witness crocodile, hental, sundari trees, mangrove, pen poetry on the colorful leaves. They pen the poetry on the colorful leaves. He reflects that their lives always remain untouched by ink and remain unnoticed by people as well as the government. They struggle with the orange peels thrown by the visitors. The poet comments on the fascinating feelings of people when they witness tiger, the royal tiger, but no one knows about the people who became victim of this tiger like Haripada, Subal, Fateh Ali, and so on. Subal's wife hanged herself last year, could not bear the fangs of hunger. They waited for the minister, and the minister promised the Sundarbans will transform. The speaker pleads. Our stomachs are full with the brine water from blood, with the brine water from flood. Second question: how does Chaplin recollect his first stage appearance? Chaplin's mother had been having trouble with her voice. It was never strong, and brought on the slightest cold brought on the laryngitis, which lasted for weeks. But she was obliged to keep working so that her voice grew progressively worse. She could not rely on it. In the middle of singing, it would crack or suddenly disappear into a whisper, and the audience would laugh and start booing. The worry of it impaired her health and made her a nervous wreck. As a consequence, her theatrical engagements fell off until they were practically nil. It was owing to her vocal condition that at the age of 5, Chaplin made his first appearance on the stage. Mother usually brought him to the theater at night in preference to leaving him alone in the rented rooms. She was playing the canteen at Eldershot at the time, a grubby, mean theater catering mostly to soldiers. They were a rowdy lot and wanted little excuse to deride or ridicule. To performers, Eldershot was a week of terror, and in the turmoil he remembers him leading him by hand, and also after few explanatory words to the audience, leaving him on the stage alone and before a glare of footlights and faces in smoke. He started to sing, accompanied by the orchestra, which fiddled about until it found his key. It was a well known song called Jack Jones. Jack Jones. Halfway through, a shower of money poured on the stage. Immediately, he stopped and announced that he would pick up the money first and sing afterwards. This caused much laughter. That was his first experience on the stage. Third question: explain the early days of Meena Bindra in her business. As a Navy wife, Meena moved around all over the country from Delhi to Bombay to Vishakhapatnam, never more than 3 years in one place. Only when her kids had grown up did Meena think of doing something. What Meena did enjoy was designing the clothes. She had not done a formal course, but she experimented with prints and colors. She got a very few of her saris block printed just for fun. Meena arranged a loan from Syndicate Bank to start new business, and she got this loan with the help of her husband. Rupees 8,000 is not a lot of money those days, but enough to buy some fabric and hire a tailor. But as they say, fortune favors the brave. She was introduced to a block printer called Devesh, and he had a big factory. Every morning, Meena would take a cab to the factory and spend the day there, experimenting with various techniques and color combinations. Through trial and error, Meena put together 40 salwar suits, all casual wear and reasonably priced, lump sum rupees 200, some stitched, some unstitched. This first sale resulted in a small profit of rupees 3,000. With the money, with that money, Meena bought fabric for 80 suits, and that too sold out quickly. It was a business, and yet not strictly business. She was living in a huge house. It was not a commercial venture. Purely by the word of mouth, Meena suits became famous among ladies in Colaba and Cafe Parade areas of Bombay. By the end of the year, she had three tailors doing job work and started getting inquiries from retailers like Benzer and Sheetal. She gave a name Biba to her new bill book. Retailers placed large orders, 100 pieces at a time, and they wanted new designs and a wider range of fabric. From a time pass and hobby venture, Biba was quickly becoming a real business. This is a story of her early phase of a business. Now, these were the three questions. Out of three questions, you were supposed to attempt one question. Now, 10 marks question. So out of three questions, again, you have plenty of choices here. Out of three questions, you are supposed to attempt only one question, and that is for 10 marks. Let's begin. Question number one: how did the little swallow help the prince in making him happy? The story of the Happy Prince dwells upon the themes like social injustice, redemptive power of love, and the loss of innocence. In this story, we come across a statue who, at one time, a real prince. When the prince was alive, he was a happy person. He lived in the palace and did not know about human suffering. His life was full of joys. Upon his death, his statue was built at the top of a tall column in the city. The statue was covered all over with thin leaves of fine gold. For eyes, he had two bright sapphires, and large red ruby glowed on his sword hilt, that's called handle. The statue of the happy prince looked beautiful, and everyone in the city loved to see their prince. Since he was placed high above the city on a tall column, the prince was able to witness all the sorrows and sufferings which the common people faced in their daily life. But the prince remained ignorant of them during his lifetime. This made the prince once happy, sometimes very sad. His eyes got watered, and large drops of tears began to run down his golden cheeks. A little swallow, had alighted between the feet of the happy prince to spend the night there, became curious to know where did the drops of water fall from. He looked up and saw the eyes of the happy prince full of tears. The bird took pity on the prince and became ready to assist him in his desire to ease the sufferings of the common people. The bird became the messenger of the prince and agreed to remove the fine gold and jewels from his statue to distribute them among the poor and the needy. He started with plucking the ruby from the prince's sword and gave it to the seamstress. Seamstress, a woman who sews, especially one who earns a living by sewing, who had no money to feed her ailing child, to feed her um, ailing child who was not keeping well. Then he plucked a sapphire from one of the eyes of the statue and gave it to the playwright who was too poor to make fire in the winter to continue his writing. He was also very hungry and feeling weak. One day, the prince saw a match girl who was being beaten by her father for letting her matches fall in the gutter. The prince's heart filled with pity for the girl. He immediately commanded the swallow to pluck out his other eye and help the girl. But the swallow was not ready to do so because this would make the prince completely blind. On being insisted, the bird plucked out the prince's other eye, swooped past the match girl, and slipped the jewel into the palm of her hand. The little bird decided not to leave the company of the happy prince who had gone blind now. Now the prince has no eyes to see the sufferings or the sorrows of his people, so he instructed the bird to take off the fine gold as he was covered with and give it to the poor. The bird followed his words and picked off leaf after leaf of the gold till the happy prince looked quite dull and grey. Then the snow came, and the poor little swallow grew older and colder. But he did not leave the prince. Eventually, he grew weak and died from exposure and exhaustion. Just at that moment, a curious crack sounded inside the statue as if something had broken. It was, in fact, the leaden heart that had snapped right in two at the loss of the sweet and the kind bird swallow. The statue was no more beautiful and useful. It stood deserted, so the town councillors and the mayor pulled it down and they melted the statue in a furnace. But the broken heart did not melt, so they threw it on a dust heap where the dead swallow was lying. When God asked one of his angels to bring the two most precious things in the city, the angel brought him the leaden heart and the dead bird. God welcomed two in his garden of paradise and deemed them beautiful creations. The story Happy Prince is a story of a prince and a little swallow. It highlights that love and sacrifice are important aspects in human life. Hence, disparity and sorrow in society can be overcome by compassion, generosity, and sharing. The generous prince and the gentle swallow sacrificed themselves to bring happiness to the poor and the needy people. The moral of the story is that humans should do good and help those in need. The prince and and the swallow help others who are suffering and they die in the process. However, they are rewarded in the afterlife. Question number two. Describe the power of beauty as explained by Keats in his famous poem Endymion. The first book of Endymion by John Keats details the speaker's beliefs regarding the power of beauty and his intentions to tell the story of Endymion. The poem begins with the speaker describing at length the power he believes that beauty holds over human life. He sees it as being a guiding force that, when accepted and appreciated, enters into one's hearts and helps to clear one's path through life. Once more, once one fully knows beauty, it will never leave. It transforms the onlooker into a beautiful object. The second half of the poem tells of the speaker's plan to tell the long story of Endymion, a character from Greek mythology. He announces his intentions, primes the audience for a long story, and sends out a herald to tell the world what is about to happen. A Thing of Beauty is by famous poet John Keats. Furthermore, the poet says that a beautiful thing can give us extreme happiness and delight. Moreover, a beautiful thing is eternal and never declines or fades. Also, beautiful thing resembles a shady shelter which gives us a comfortable sleep comprising of sweet dreams and relaxation. This will ultimately lead to good health. The author says that the individuals have an attachment to the earthly things. This attachment is such that it has a resemblance of a flowery wreath. Furthermore, there are traps that keep people connected to materialistic things. This connection with materialistic things distracts humans from eternal happiness. This is because the focus of such materialistic people will be on acquiring more and more resources rather than on attaining eternal happiness. The world has a lot of negativity, hatred, and greed. According to John Keats, the cause of gloom and sadness is this negativity. Moreover, one can fade away these negative vibes away with the help of beautiful things that surround us. This is because beautiful things bring nothing but positivity. The poet informs us that about some beautiful things that are all around us. Beauty is certainly in the eyes of the one who beholds. This means one can see the beauty in anything. Furthermore, the poet talks about the numerous creations of God which we should admire. One such creation is the sun, which provides energy. Moreover, the poet also talks about the beauty of the moon and the natural beauty of the trees. There are various animals around that make our world lively. The pretty flowers like daffodils enhance the liveliness and the greenery of the world. Moreover, the falling streams of water provide refreshment and cooling effect to us in the hot summer season. The forests have plenty of pretty musk rose flowers. Such flowers are a beautiful sight, and eyes feel the delight due to them. All such things certainly are things of beauty. Also, one must not forget the beautiful and inspiring stories of the brave soldiers. These brave soldiers risked and sacrificed their lives in order to protect others. These beautiful things have a resemblance to the fountain of immortality bestowed upon us by the God as a gift and as a blessing. Such beautiful things are an inspiration for all of us to continue living. They make life worth living. Also, they also help us in maintaining our faith in goodness. Life without these beautiful things would certainly become very hard. This is how, in this poem Endymion, the the poet John Keats has sung the power of beauty. Third question, the last question of this question paper for 10 marks. Explain Tagore's vision of freedom with reference to his poem Freedom. The poem Freedom, highlights the poet's wish that his country should be free from the fear of British imperialism. It also urges the countrymen to overcome any kind of fear and oppression and liberate themselves to enjoy the bliss of freedom. The poem Freedom by Rabindranath Tagore is a vehement cry for the country's independence, which he believes can be accompanied through an intellectual awakening. The speaker, at the very outset, identifies the country as his motherland. He then goes on to enumerate the manifestations of freedom that he yearns for his country. As the poet says, freedom from the burden of the ages, bending your head, breaking your back, blinding your eyes to the beginning call of the future. Portraying the nation as an aged mother, the speaker demands for a freedom from the burden of the ages foisted by the British. Imagining a happy time, he craves for the complete eradication of the indignities that bend the mother's head and the smashing of the yoke that breaks her back. He wishes for her blindfold to fall, which has been hitherto clouding her hopeful visions of the future. The poet says, freedom from the shackles of slumber wherewith you fasten yourself in night's stillness, mistrusting the star that speaks of truth's adventurous paths. The poet longs, desires for the country to rouse and free itself from the slumber, and engender engendered by the Raj. In praying for a prosperous time, the speaker demands freedom from the clutches of the still night that haunts the mental outlook of the people. He wishes for the country to seek hope in the star and follows its path of future, path of truth. Poet says, freedom from the anarchy of destiny, whose sails are weakly yielded to the blind, uncertain winds, and the hem to a hand ever rigid and cold as death. The poet craves for a freedom from blind faith in fate. It is the anarchy of destiny and helpless certitude in providence that stops the country from achieving its independence. He employs a metaphor of a boat for the country, stating that this boat blindly sails with the wind and its helm is in incapable hands. His aspiration is to attain independence from such vulnerability. The poet says, freedom from the insult of dwelling in a puppet's world, where movements are started through brainless wires, repeated through mindless habits, where figures wait with patience and obedience for the master of show to be stirred into a mimicry of life. On the final note, Tagore seeks freedom from the puppet's world created by the British. He considers it a shame to be controlled like mindless figures by the master of show and to be orchestrated by brainless wires. He covets, he covets a freedom from his mimicry of life. The poet wants all Indians, his countrymen, to attain a freedom that is beyond all these narrow mentalities where each one of us is educated, strives towards perfection, does his own bit for the country, is not discriminative or racist or sexist, and it will be then we would be truly united. So we have come to the end of this question paper, and let's have a brief glance on the outline of your question paper. So just have a look here. The comprehension passage is a 5 marks weightage, synonyms, antonyms, articles, prepositions, etc. 10 marks, correction of sentences 5 marks, reported speech 5 marks, dialogue writing 3 marks, verbal non-verbal communication 2 marks, active passive voice 5 marks, and welcome speech or introduction to the guest, or we can say word of thanks 5 marks. There's a choice here. And finally you have 1 marks 5 questions from the course book, and 5 marks 1 question, and 10 marks 1 questions. So dear friend, this is how I have tried to solve this model question paper of second semester BCom BBA generic English under BCU. And if you like this video, please click on the like button, write in the comment box, and don't forget that I have mentioned all my videos links in the description box. If you want to go through each and every chapter, please go through the description box, click on the links, and watch all my videos. Thank you so much for watching. Wish you good luck for the examination. Dear friends, thank you so much for watching this video. You can reach me at mukeshenglish@gmail.com. Please do subscribe the channel, click on the like button for more videos on literature, workbook, pronunciation, grammar, communication skills, presentation skills, interview skills. Stay in tune with Mukesh English. Thank you once again.